Okay, we are live. Hello. How's everyone doing in chat today? It is the first Thursday of the month, which means it is time for another monthly stream. How's everyone doing on this fine day? Me? Could be better. Could be worse. Definitely having one of those, like, C+ tier days. You know what I mean? Where it's not like... It's not terrible, but it's definitely not the best. Hopefully everyone is doing better than a C+ in chat. So, title of this stream, and the initial topic, is that syncretizing different aeonic systems together is a stupid idea, and the title of this stream is clickbait. That's what that is. That is just true. Because I don't know about you guys, but I see quite a lot of well-meaning bad, like really just bad takes when it comes to... I'm gonna turn the game audio just a little bit so it's not deafening. Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of really just weird syncretisms in modern day. We are so back. We're back for the monthly We Are So Back stream, even. Yeah. You know, tired and beat after running wire in an attic? Jesus. Fucking hate running wire. Running wire and just... That is never fun. For those of you who have never had the misfortune of having to do that, it is never fun, ever. It's a miserable thing. But yeah. So, for those of you who missed it, yeah, I see a lot of people trying to syncretize different aeonic systems together, and that is different from a synchronicity. Syncretism is where you are basically trying to equate one thing with another. My mask clogged with fiberglass, man. That's miserable. I hate... Like, that's one of the reasons I hate it. So yeah. Syncretism, for those of you who don't know, is when you are conflating one concept, like one spiritual concept, with another. So this isn't things like, you know, this is stuff like, oh, I'm going through and I think, hey, this spirit and this other spirit are actually completely the same, right? That's what it is. It's not like, oh, yeah, this is a synchronicity. It's very different. Different context. Different concept. Not really related here, because while they are in sync, they're not, you know, not a synchronicity. It's just a, you know, it's a little bit different. A little bit different. Now, I've noticed a bizarre amount of synchronicities in modern day. I've noticed that the synchronicities are just kind of all over the place. It's like this, you know, this entity, because they are depicted as male, is the exact same as this other entity, even though they bear no resemblance whatsoever in domains, jurisdiction, how they were depicted. Nope, they're the same entity. Usually by people who are trying to give more credence to a particular spirit. When in actuality, you're really just, you know, you shouldn't be trying to make everything fit, because not every system's going to fit, right? Lower that volume a little bit more. So you go ahead and you are going to see people depicting, like, you know, fire god, right? Let's say we have a fire god named Hephaestus, right? And then another culture has this other fire god named, I don't know, Vulcan, right? And then they decide, huh, these spirits look really similar. These spirits look really similar. I think that they're actually just the same interpretation of, or they're different interpretations of the same spirit, right? And in case you were wondering, this was so common in the days of ancient Rome that I believe it got its own name of Interpretatio Romanorum, if I remember correctly, which is basically the Romans tried to equate all of other people's spirits as their own, right? So they were trying to, you know, they were trying to come to the conclusion that, hey, this spirit is actually the same as this other spirit, right? Which isn't a bad thing. You know, it's not. It's not a bad thing. Welcome in, Skeptic. But there are some times when that doesn't actually work. And the most common one is gonna be... the most common one I see in modern day is gonna be that YHVH is the demiurge. And that one in particular is usually done by anti-Abrahamists in order to make it like... It's always framed as some big gotcha, right? It's always some big gotcha like, oh, the Abrahamists are actually worshipping the demiurge and they don't even realize it. When in actuality, that's not really what they believe. And if you read the Gnostics, depending on which Gnostic sect you believe in, the demiurge isn't even a bad guy. Quick reminder for people who don't actually know and haven't read the Corpus Hermeticum, no judgment. Full judgment. In the Corpus, the demiurge does show up in chapter 1. And he's not depicted as being an evil monster. He's just kind of there, honestly. But a lot of people will say, oh, demiurge, automatically bad, when that is not really the case for a majority of... You know, that's not really the case for a majority of belief systems out there. They don't... It is only the Gnostics that go ahead and believe that, oh, creator of the world equal bad guy. It is only Gnosticism that believes this. Every other system that I know of does not automatically go, this person created the world, therefore they are evil. And this is where we get into the whole syncretism thing. Syncretism is a very... It was a lot more common in the past, but it was also done with specific rules in the past that I'm not even going to claim to know inside and out, but there were rules to what could and could not be syncretized, right? You wouldn't just, You know, how many people are going to correspond Poseidon with a god of volcanoes? How many people would do that? I wouldn't do that. What do you guys think, chat? I wouldn't do that. But this is the level of syncretism that we are experiencing in certain cases in the modern world. And it's just kind of wrong. It's just not... That's not the right way to do it. And if you think about it for 2 seconds... Now, if you, for some reason, have, like, a personal correspondence that you believe that, oh, yeah, no, these two spirits seem to have some kind of link, that's different than what I'm talking about, right? I'm not saying you can't correspond ocean god to volcanoes, because there's actually a lot more volcanoes under the ocean than there are, you know, there's a lot more underwater volcanoes than there are above ground volcanoes, right? But you wouldn't just be like, yes, this landlocked volcano is definitely caused by this ocean god. I'm Taoist and we don't have heresy, which is wild. I mean, isn't there, like, a thing in Taoism that is just, like... You have so many different views in Taoism that it's, like, hard to... There's no organizing body in Taoism, is there? I don't think there is. The concept of heresy is heretical. The concept of heresy is literally just they're thinking different than what I believe. Therefore, they're wrong, and they should be punished for being wrong. The concept of heresy is literally the concept of wrongthink. There are only sects. Right, so, like, that... By design, if there is not an organized body, you can't really have heresy. So that's cool. Welcome in, GDR. Yeah, no. And so the thing I noticed and the thing that popped the stream title into my head is that I was listening to a abridged audio version of the Mahabharata. And for those of you who are wondering, why do you read an abridged version of a holy text? It's because it's kind of, it's kind of a thing where they repeat a lot in the unabridged version. So you end up getting, like, full recaps of the story in the middle of him telling a story to another person. It's kind of a whole thing. And I was reminded of, like, the Kali Yuga, and then I saw something on Twitter and it just kind of, like, mashed into my brain. So that's why the title of the stream is what it is, because it's very long. It's very, very long, and it's very repetitive, and I don't mean that in like a, it's like the same plot beats. No, I mean it's literally repetitive. It literally repeats the same kind of thing. Audiobooks of occult books make me worried I'm gonna summon something like an Evil Dead by listening to it. Yeah, I mean, this is a holy text type of thing. Because this is, oh, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's my understanding that the Mahabharata is to, like, Hinduism what, the Mahabharata is to Hinduism what the Gospels are to Christianity. That's my understanding of it. That might be a bad way of explaining it, but that's kind of how it was explained to me. So that's what I was listening to. But yeah, in case you were wondering where the stream title came from of the absolutely most insane two combinations. Slightly off topic, I missed live streams about failures in Invocation, but still want to share. I wanted to try something from Magic just in case, just to know if it was real or not. Kind people from X advised me to read S. Connolly. Okay, that's a way to start it. I tried to evoke a demon who's often depicted as shitting on a toilet to ask for some money. After a weird dream with multi-headed camel, I got food poisoning, so I was shitting my guts out for 2 days. Also, I received money, but due to circumstances, had to return it. Thanks, X. Very cool. Oh man. All right. There's a lot of there's a lot of things wrong with that story. First of all, you got something from X and expecting it to work as advertised, which that's already no. No. That's not how that works. At least you asked people who you thought were knowledgeable. Second, why did you ask a toilet demon for money? What? 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 I don't understand. That just sounds like a series of... Like, that sounds like a comedy of errors, and I mean that in a literal way, because that story is very funny. But yeah. Thank you for sharing, GDR. Thank you for sharing. The Mahabharata is sort of like the Iliad of Hinduism. The Bhagavad Gita is like the Sermon on the Mountain. Yeah, that's what I was trying to... I need to... I forget which one I was listening to. I know one of them has the other one in it. At least I think it does. I am not well versed in Eastern thought at all. For those of you who have not seen my channel and wonder, why doesn't he talk about Taoism? Or why doesn't he talk about things like, you know, Taoism, Hinduism, yoga, that kind of thing? It's because I know nothing about it. And when I do try to learn about it, it ends up resulting in, you know, I accept that I know mostly, if not all, about Western stuff, and I don't know about the Eastern stuff. That is, and I'm comfortable with that. I am comfortable knowing that I have a gap in my knowledge, and I am comfortable knowing that if because I do not have the context for a lot of it, tried to, you know, experience and learn about that stuff, I would probably fuck some part of it up. You know, that's just me. Is it easier to do magical work in the Kali Yuga than in other yugas? My understanding is that the Kali Yuga is best for seeking enlightenment, because if you try to get enlightenment during the Kali Yuga, I believe it's the gods feel pity on you for living in the Kali Yuga, so you just kind of get it, is my understanding. But for things like magic and other stuff, it's the worst. Like generally speaking, the Kali Yuga is absolutely terrible 9 times out of 10 for everything, with the sole exception of enlightenment, because you end up getting enlightenment easier of varying reasons. That's my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong, but that is how it was explained to me by people who seemed, at the time, more well-versed than I am. At least in this topic. Yeah. You're getting this, like, third hand. I would recommend studying more Hinduism to actually know, but that is what I understand. I got visited at Christmas in a dream by, I am not going to even try to pronounce that. Once, and it changed my life. I believe that. I believe that. That's fair. Spirits showing up in dreams because they don't need to... I feel like spirits showing up in dreams, generally speaking, those manifestations are just more powerful because they don't have to... Like, think about it like this. You have a spirit. It shows up in a dream. It does not have to go through like 6 layers of tunnels in order to manifest from the astral plane, right? It can just show up in your dream because their dreams basically take place in the astral plane already. Late gang, I hope you're having a good day, everyone. I'm having a C+ tier day, Joseph. Yeah, it's been a C+ tier day. I hope everyone, genuinely, I hope everyone is having a better day than I am. I hope everyone is having a good day. If not, I hope your day is getting better as the stream goes on. I hope your day gets better over time. That is my ultimate goal, is better days and just everyone having a good time as time progresses. I feel like that's a good goal to strive for. If you're not having a good day, your day getting better, right? Speaking of things that are out of my element, I hope your day gets better. I mean, like, my day got worse. Like, I knew today wasn't going to be a good day, right? Like, it wasn't just... It's not that the bad times just kind of, like, jumped out at me. It's like, no, it's a bad day. It's more of a case of, like, I knew it was going to be a bad day, and it was just a, like, some things happened, and, I had to, like, go deal with something that I was made aware of on Monday. So, it's all good. But we're here now. And the day is progressing. Today is getting better. I hope your day is getting better too. It's getting better. It's getting better. Literally, like, yeah, no. We're doing it. We're doing it, guys. Don't know how. Quite fast. Mine's been a little rocky, but I'm trying to manage. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Good news for people who care about, like, the Lunar New Year is apparently the Lunar New Year is scheduled to be the year of the Wood Dragon. So apparently that's going to be a thing. The Wood Dragon, which is apparently about growth, transformation, all that stuff. I love that I live in a time in history where I can congregate with wizards easy. Welcome to Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells. This stream brought to you by the Shadow Government. I am an earth snake. I don't know what I am. I know that this year, this lunar year is supposed to be all about growth, prosperity, and yeah. It's supposed to be all about like good vibes and like prosperity. Get you some of that mandatory, forced, aggressively positive spirit for those of you who had a bad last year. We're gonna have a good this year. Oh, I just realized you're playing unhinged Pokemon. It's more... It... Yes and no. It is... There's more to it than it being unhinged Pokemon, okay? They ripped off more than just Pokemon. I used to think I was a horse, but I was born before the lunar year of that year. Yeah, that's... I don't understand, like... I'm not gonna lie, I think lunar stuff is always so bizarre, because I'm, by my nature, a very solar person. So, I see the Lunar New Year stuff, and it's like, I don't know what to make of any of that. That's interesting, I guess. I don't... How am I supposed to feel about that? Every person I see talking about the year of the wood dragon says that is going to be an agitated year. I mean, maybe. I mean, I was told the opposite. I was told that it was going to be like... You know, I was told that it was going to be like a year of prosperity and new beginnings. Like, it was a growth year, basically. That was my understanding. But maybe I'm missing some crucial details. I'm a Taoist, so I have to care about that stuff. I mean, at the moment, you know, at the moment, I'm... Given the fact that I am a hermetic magician well-versed in Agrippa, it's currently the Aeon of Mercury. Does anyone care that it's the Aeon of Mercury? It's been the Aeon of Mercury for a while. Anyone? Anyone care? No? No, no one cares about Mercury. Nobody cares about the Western, like, stuff. I've been getting into fights on the daily, or at least arguments. Well, good news, it's not the Lunar New Year yet, so that could just be planetary stuff. It's entirely possible that it's not even, that when the New Year hits, everything goes to being smooth sailing. I have noticed a lot of, what was it? I have noticed a lot of, like, resolutions to ongoing conflicts going on at the moment. At least in my private life, I've noticed that there's a lot of... you know, there's a lot of negative stuff that is being fixed and is kind of being mended in a way. You'd think Mercury would be in a hurry to move on. No, it doesn't get to move on. It's... Like, so far, the most mercurial entertainment has been the internet. Like, we got the internet in the Aeon of Mercury. Which... If you believe in the Aeon of Mercury stuff... I mean, VTubers exist now, I guess. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, which is a very mercurial opinion to have. Like, planetary power of Mercury, for those of you who don't remember, is neither good nor bad. It's entirely neutral. It is an entirely neutral planet. Which means that it is neither good nor bad. It's just kind of... It's kind of... okay. But it's a very important planet. Without the planet of Mercury, I would not be able to talk on a live stream. Will you become a VTuber? You know what? If somebody wants Chat, this is not a threat. This is a promise. If somebody makes me a channel aesthetic appropriate VTuber model, I will become a VTuber. That's a promise. I'm not gonna pay for a VTuber model, but I know my PC can run it. Must have beard, must be yeah. There you go. There's your threat. But I'm not actively I am not actively becoming a VTuber. This is we will democratize the process of me becoming a VTuber. I just noticed that too, and I thought it might have been the LBRP. Yeah, like, it's been like, over the past couple of weeks I've noticed, particularly, over the past couple of weeks I've noticed that, like, problems have been resolved much easier. But there's been a lot more, like, drama. There have been high energy conclusions to things. The Aeonic Age of VTubing, oh god. Like an Agrippa model, if I'm not an Agrippa model, because I don't want people who, like, publish the books to come after me, but, like, Renaissance Occultist style VTuber model, and I will consider it. Must have a beard. I don't trust wizards without beards. I personally have one. So yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, so noticed that, thought that was strange. Hopefully other people have seen that, and I'm not just, like, crazy or something. That was kind of a weird thing to notice, honestly. Like, when you notice that kind of stuff, it's usually very important. Or it's, like, space weather, which is another name for astrology, for those of you wondering. It's usually astrology doing that. Why not a hand with a floating, all-seeing eye above it? I mean, would that fit the aesthetic? I feel like that would. I feel like that would fit the aesthetic. That would definitely... Yeah, I'd say that fits the aesthetic. As long as it had, like, cool, like, rings or something. I don't know. But, once again, I'm not actively trying to... I am not actively trying to become a VTuber. I am not actively trying to become a VTuber. If the community demands it, I am not going to resist. But... yeah. Who am I to disagree with democracy? Yeah. Man, I hate... Real talk for a second, chat. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie. For the moment. I absolutely cannot stand VTuber content. I absolutely cannot stand VTuber content. Like, I think most VTuber content, I think, is, like, very repetitive, and I can't stand it. It's just not... It just does not appeal to me in the slightest. Not trying, but you'll accept it. I am not going to resist the VTuberification. That is all I will say. So yeah. Where can I find the Aeonic calendar? What's the next Aeon? So, the Aeonic calendar is, I believe, in Agrippa, and it's also in the Arbitel. And the Arbitel is a better place to find it, because it's just in chapter, like, 3. It's just in the 3rd section. A lot easier to find... I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot easier to find in the Arbitel than it is Agrippa, because Agrippa, once again, Agrippa is dense, as we know, but there's also a case of... There's also the issue of... It's like 90-something years, or it's like 490 years, and it goes in Chaldean order descending. So before we were in the Aeon of Venus, now we're in the Aeon of Mercury, and next we will be in the Aeon of... Next we will be in the Aeon of the Moon, according to the Aeonics calendar. At least the planetary Aeonics calendar that people actually follow. Yeah, I've noticed old problems. I just kind of accepted being stuck with having been kind of blown up and clearing out. Yeah, no, that's like a weird... It's a weird thing. It's definitely a weird thing. I've definitely noticed that as well. And I think it might be a planetary... It might be like a transit thing. I'm gonna say it's a transit thing until proven otherwise, because like that seems to be recurring enough to where it's like, yeah, that generally seems to be the case. I personally believe we're going through the unfinished business of the hippie movement. I mean, that's not really what we're... It's not really it. Because the, yeah, no, because there's not really hippie stuff that's blowing up. It's things like personal drama, or at least for me. I don't know about other people, but yeah, like just kind of going through and then suddenly problems resolve themselves. You know what? We love to see it. We love to see it. We are pro problem solutions on this channel. We are pro solutions to problem. I am... Oh. Okay. Imagine the Aeon of the Moon will be really weird. You know, like, I don't know how the Aeon of the Moon is gonna be. But I think that the Aeon of the Moon is gonna be probably more and less sane. It'll probably be more and less sane than the current time we live in now. We'll probably, like, if we were living through it, we would probably think, wow, this is deranged. But we already think that about the current age. So, you know, it's kind of like the exact same thing, just different planet in charge. The moon is specifically, however... The moon is specifically, however, the planetary associated with things like confusion. And so... the moon will probably lead to, I don't know, maybe we live in VR. Maybe we live in the pod. Maybe we live in the pod, guys. I don't know. I'm literally looking at my copy of the Arbitel now. Is it the Wheel of Fortune picture? I don't think... No. I think that's something different. It's, like, written out. You need to calculate it yourself, I think, is the issue. But, yeah. Like, you have to, like, actually hand calculate it out, and then it, like, tells you what the current age is and when... And I think the age changed in, like, 1900? But now we're... Have you heard about the first Neuralink implantation? I did. I don't know how to feel about that. Oh, no. I was, like, very... I was very gung-ho. Like, yeah, science is, like, gonna solve all the problems. Transhumanism, all that stuff. But, like... I don't know anymore. I think that despite the fact that we can do a bunch of things, right? There comes a point where the question becomes, what happens when it becomes better than, like, base, right? Right, like, that's the main thing I'm worried about. Because, I don't know about you guys in chat, but if we go through a time period where it's like, oh yeah, we have, like, all of this cool, crazy brain interfacing things. I don't want to live in cyberpunk. Like, I don't want to have to go to my prime job, get my prime bucks from the prime store, get a tummy ache, get my Tums too, get my cyber drugs, and, like, have to deal with that. Oh no. Quantric, this is indeed Palworld. I always have the game in the top left, guys. Just as a heads up. It's always Palworld. So if you're ever wondering, like... And if the game is too loud, I am totally fine with, like, lowering the volume. I've already done twice this stream, I think. The anime Kaiba scared me off of transhumanism because capitalism corrupts the transcendence of bodies as a commodity. Well, like, that's... I'm just gonna say it. That is a... Like, the issue is, that is a mercurial thing, right? Like, for those of you who don't know, Mercury is the planetary power of commoditization. So, like, that is just a natural byproduct of being in a mercurial time. It's just, like, everything becomes economic transactions, and things start to become simplified and mass-produced. Like, if you're ever wondering why everything feels quote-quote artificial, that is part of the aeon of... Like, that is literally a mercurial thing. Like, artificiality is actually a mercurial thing. Is it a trap to become a cyborg and live forever? Alright, I'm gonna appeal to the anime nerds and tell you to read JoJo Part 2, and you look at the death of... Look at how Cars is defeated, and you tell me if that's a bad idea. If that is not a form of hell, I don't know what is. Welcome in, Opera. This is, not exactly Pokemon. This is, not exactly Pokemon at all. Hey, is that a JoJo reference? Yes, it is. Yep. Personally, if you ever want a... And if you look this game up, I apologize for the visual assault on your eyeballs that you will experience, and your ears if you listen to the soundtrack. The game that kind of made me realize that immortality and, like, you know, death is a good thing is actually a game called Cruelty Squad, which, for those of you who don't know what Cruelty Squad is, it is a masterfully crafted game wearing the skin of a shitpost. It is, like, skinned and is wearing the skin of a game that looks like it was made in MS Paint, as it says, and it talks about, like, Gnosticism, the illusion of materiality, and what gives life meaning as its, like, central themes for the actual game. So, yeah. As, the premise is that the aesthetic is part of the game, fortunately. Servitors are essentially stands. I would disagree. I would say familiars are... But can you share your personal belief on afterlife? I believe you go to a... I believe you go to the place that is best served for you. Thank you, Opera, for the $5. Jojo mentioned occult gaming. Oh, man. Thank you, Opera, once again. Oh, wow, they even have an Abraxas-looking guy. No, straight up, the first boss is the Demiurge. The first boss is the Demiurge. Like, if I talk about Gnosticism in full, you will know what the game is. And I will apologize right away. Because the main thing is, I don't know a lot of things, as I've revealed on this stream. I know that, so... Does that mean I know a lot? I don't know. I know I don't know a lot of things. But what I do know, I know is very specific. I don't know. The battle cry of the philosopher. I don't know! A snake body with lion's head? Yeah, it's a snake body with a lion's head. And after you kill him, you get an ending that is basically you were trapped in a world of delusion. I'm going to wait for the Abramelin bingo card. You're not getting it. For those who are asking, the planetary aeons are each 490 years, and our current mercurial age started in 1900. As Dave said, they follow the Chaldean order. Yes, thank you. I was hoping somebody would get that. Yeah, so that means we have a long ways to go. We have a long ways to go. That means we're not ending this till, like, what is it? 2390? 2390. Which, I will... unless mandatory immortality is unlocked, which would suck. Mandatory immortality sounds awful. But, yeah, unless we get mandatory immortality, I'm not gonna be around for that. Presumably no one in chat will be around for that. I'm gonna go ahead and, like, I'll write a cool grimoire, pass it on to my grandchildren, and be like, finish my work. My work must continue through the ages. scare the crap out of my grandchildren, write it all in Theban, have them translate it. Starts out with like a really well-written passage of, if you are reading this, I am dead, and you are continuing my work. Something like that. Make it feel all wizardy. Give him a book of spells. Right, something that looks really profound, but is actually just Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Huh. I need to know the... Give me 300 years. As a 30-year-old person, I'll take it. Infinite life? Nope, thank you. I need to know the aftermath of this LARP. That's good. I like that. The closest thing to actually being immortal would probably be altered carbon. See, that I'd believe, right? The real question is, when we get the fancy, the fancy mystical technology to... You know that rabbit hole, Joseph? I was convinced that I was a karma farm, and even tried removing my chakras in their entirety. Ooh, no. No, that's not good. Don't. You're using those. How do we make sense of Eastern traditions as Christian framework, though? So the great part is you don't. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You don't do that. Because they are irreconcilable systems. However, now, here's a fascinating thing I learned. Apparently, according to Taoism, and now keep in mind this is something I heard, so if any Taoists in chat can actually illuminate this for me. I was informed that while we cannot make sense of the Eastern system, the Western system believes that Jesus is compatible with their system as being a master. So so following in the ways of Jesus is in fact a method of cultivating yourself in the Taoist understanding of the world. That's my understanding. So what I'm saying is Christianity confirmed Taoist. This is a shitpost. I am not taking this seriously. That is not a serious belief. But that being said, the Jesus Christ being a cultivation master is something that I was told. So if anyone can back me up on that, if anyone can tell me if that makes sense, sounds like a sect to me. Yeah. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's like the, oh, what's that called? Oh, geez, what is it? The, internet law of Buddhism? Which, for those of you who don't know, the internet law of Buddhism is that for every Buddhism, there is an equal and opposite Buddhism that someone on the internet will say that they practice that you have never heard of that is somewhere in Asia. So in essence, you will never know what Buddhism is actually going to say because they're all saying something different. Chinese people syncretized Jesus when Christianity came to China? I believe that. That I 100% believe. 100% believe that. Yeah, just a big sect that is a bit disconnected from others. I mean, it's like the whole Christian thing, right? Like, there's so many different forms of Christianity that one sect of Christianity is going to say something completely different. And and if you don't believe me, I want you to realize that there is a concept called sola scriptura, which basically says the final authority on anything is the Bible. Now, I want you to realize that the Catholic Church does not believe this, which is bizarre for a lot of people, because you think, oh, the Holy Text, it's going to be in the Holy Text. No, you have to go learn what the Church Fathers said, which I still don't know how to feel about that. I still don't know how to feel about that. That is like the strangest thing to me. Sometimes I feel like I need to seek revenge, but my prayers are like, Lord, forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And I'm like, oh, I like, yeah, you're supposed to forgive people. And in case you're wondering, forgiveness does not mean, oh, these people did something bad to me, so I'm going to let them do more bad things to me. That's not what it means. No, that is not what it means in the slightest. What it means is you forgive them, you stop harboring hatred in your heart for those people, but you do not let them just repeat the thing that made you need to forgive them in the first place. You don't put yourself in a situation like that. Because forgiveness does have its limits, and there is there is such a thing as fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, right? That's the thing. Some mutton. Eastern religions do not have this as a correct religion. It is quite common to have someone who is Buddhist and Taoist at the same time, and some still incorporate it with Christianity. Yeah, that I believe, but that I definitely believe. That kinda used to be a thing in Christianity. See Hermetic Christianity. See all of Agrippa's entirety of the second half of Book 3. For those of you wondering. Yeah, Agrippa does do that at certain points. What we're gonna do? We're getting this out of my party. We're gonna switch to something else. I'll figure it out. But yeah, no, Christianity used to do this more commonly, but I don't know the reason. It's possible that too many people were taking advantage of this and were going ahead and basically being like, all right, no more of this. No more. Ever. Because when publishing got more accessible, all that stuff. I think there is a perennial truth in all traditional religions. Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, what do all religions say, right? Look up, try to be with the Lord. By the Lord, I mean the Most High, creator of all things. Don't be a dick. And try to work on yourself to be less of a dick. Right? Like, that's what spirituality says. Just don't be an asshole. All good spirituality basically just says the same thing of don't be an asshole. Except, no. Scratch that. It says, don't be an asshole, or don't go out of your way to be an asshole. That might be a better way to put it. And in case you were wondering how prevalent is that stance, Like, how prevalent is that stance? It's so prevalent that it's basically everywhere. Like, it's even in Levain's Satan. In the Satanic Bible, it's just don't go out of your way to harm people. Which is kind of funny when you think about it. And most religious rules are instructions on how not to be an asshole. Yeah, like, I'm just saying, maybe we should try to be not assholes, right? Maybe we should try not to be a bunch of assholes who need... How many different religious textbooks are there on how not to be assholes? Right? Like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't need like 11 gajillion books on how to not be a dick. No. Just saying. Oh boy. Satanic Bible is like, be chill unless they don't. Funny enough, I read the Satanic Bible after, specifically after I got into occultism. So I had the wonderful first impression of getting to read Shemham Farash, having worked with the Angels of the Shemham Farash. Which is about as surreal as you would assume, I think. I feel like Taoism is coming back in a big way because billionaires are hoarding wealth. I mean, it's more of a case of... Alright, here's a prediction for the next couple of years. You ready? You are going to see the economic system change in such a dramatic way because people are going to drop the morals and start acting like corporations. And that is going to completely screw over the system. Because a large portion of the system is, oh, hey, don't act like a corporation, you as a people. Right? So, yeah, I think that we're slowly but surely coming to a period in time where we are going to be having the entire economic system completely changing due to the fact that people are basically going to start, like, just acting like those crazy politicians and the whatnot. I don't know. Might just be me, but I genuinely do see this happening. Hell, this is where the whole concept of the gig economy came from. Like, that is where the whole concept of the gig economy came from, for those wondering. I'm not, yep, there we go. Find it fascinating that Mao Zedong couldn't kill Lao Tzu's ideas. The split second Mao died, they rebuilt the temples. I mean, you can't... How do you kill a god? You can't kill a god. What a blissful, ignorant existence. You already see the coming generation wising up to not playing nice with our workplace. Yeah, no, well, the workplaces aren't gonna look the same in like 10 years. They're gonna be like completely and totally different. Is mine. That's not a belief. That's just like looking at the current state of situation and seeing that, oh yeah, 2 + 2 = 4. Like that's what happens. I literally had like 3 arguments today at work. Dagoth reference. Yeah, no. That's I love Dagoth posting. At some point I'll play Morrowind. Religious people stay Christians, lost 4 crusades, and Europe's still Christian. Yeah, I mean, all right. Quick history check, real quick. Do you guys know how many crusades there were, like, actually? Like 12. There was a lot of them. There was a lot more than 4. It's just the 4 that we know about are 1, the first one, 2, the successful one, 3, the one we romanticize, and 4, the D&D campaign. Sadly, most of the Taoist stuff are in Taiwan and Hong Kong. That's unfortunate. Oh, there was more than 5. There was more than 5. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot that you don't hear about because they're just not important. Yeah. Like, there is a bunch of lesser crusades, is the issue. Okay, I'm sorry. There was not 12. There was 8. 8 major crusades. So we split the difference between where what I said of 12 and what Opera said of 5. And then we get 8. That's how that works. Yeah. So yeah, no, there's like 8 crusades. Have y'all watched any Formscape videos? Really cool stuff, in my opinion, relates to magic being real, yada yada yada. I think I've seen Formscape's videos. I don't. Might have been a long time. I haven't watched. I'll be honest, at this point, I don't watch a lot of occult commentary or like esoteric videos just because just don't. It's just I don't watch that anymore. Weird. I used to watch it a lot more, to be fair. I guess I burned myself out on occult content. Now I'm making the occult content, which is cool. We're also getting a second satanic panic at the moment. Oh, that's not a satanic panic. Oh no, trust me. It's more that people are becoming more spiritually inclined, and the older generation doesn't know what to do because they're spiritually dead inside. As kind of morbid as that sounds. Yay. But yeah, no, it's more of a case of people are becoming more spiritually inclined because of various different things. It looks like a second Satanic Panic, but it actually isn't.
Yeah.
We're just, you know, we are just dealing with the current state of affairs that was given to us. You know, you gotta play the hand you're dealt, and when you're dealt a handful of tarot cards, and people wonder why you're playing the Magician card of all fucking things, you know. They look a little bit foolish. Little bit foolish, just saying. Not my fault I was handed a deck full of tarot cards. I think politics is way hotter than religious panic right now. We are kind of in Cold War II, the return. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I tend to ignore politics as much as possible because I find politics to be a waste of time and energy. But it's definitely something that I know a lot of people do. I totally understand because you're making the content. It's more of an philosophical. Yes, not to shell anyone. Stuff me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm always down to check out good channels. So I might check it. I might check it out. Also, for the 20 people who are always asking me to put graphics and stuff, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Don't worry. Graphics are on the way. Is it a good idea to read Grunkle's Royal Psalms daily before going to work? What are the Royal Psalms? What are those? I don't know, but those sound cool as hell. What are those? I just want to know. Those sound super cool, and they sound like they would help if they're like royal psalms, because that means like, you know, even just based on the name, that sounds cool. I feel like if something was called the Royal Psalms and you were trying to get a promotion, I'd read those daily before work as just on the principle alone, right? You know? Yeah, also just doing psalms like early in general is usually a good idea. My practice has recently been reading Psalms 93 through 99 to celebrate God as King. That's pretty good. Then Psalm 10, then 10 Psalms that celebrate kingship. I mean, that sounds like that would be an incredibly useful thing to do, right? Like, that sounds incredibly useful to me. I would definitely think that that kind of work would help you out at least a little bit. If it doesn't help you out, I'd wonder why. Some relating to King David, some relating to other kings. Yeah, no, that sounds like it would really help. Just to become master of your domain, like, you know, to become the sole authority on your life, I would say that definitely helps. That kind of stuff would definitely help, is my impression, at the very least. I still keep my Jerusalem Bible, which I got when I threatened my Protestant dad that was going... What? I was going Catholic on my shelf next to next to a cult book. That's pretty funny. That's funny right there. Used to fill it myself with emptying it out up with the LBRP because I didn't do the IRP yet. Yeah, basically more respect. So far, good results to BH. That's pretty good. I think that kind of stuff is really useful. I think people underestimate the effectiveness of that kind of like preliminary work. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. I used to be Catholic, but things changed. He used to want to be Catholic, but things changed. My dad was shook. I can't really blame him. Because, like, you know, you hear that your child is becoming some devil worshiper, and, like, that's all pretty bad. Are low magic, quote-quote, cantrips real/worth it? Saying a person's name 7 times in your head to get their attention, doing variations of the cross sign to close your aura from bad people, etc. I have an entire occultic manual on cantrips, basically. I have an entire occultic manual on it. Yeah. I will admit, for those of you wondering, I primarily am just gonna say that I have used a lot of that kind of, like, that kind of low, non-in a ritual space magic to get out of traffic. Like, yeah, I would say that, like, that's primarily what I use that kind of stuff for. How safe is it to do the LIRP if not initiated? It's part of the initiation process, so I hope it's safe. I've been recommending it to non-initiated people to get them initiated for years. So, very. At least based on what I've heard. I went to a Taoist temple in Glebe, and it felt like Asian Catholicism, burning incense and spirit money, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah, that I 100% believe. Yeah, no, Taoism definitely vibes spirit Catholicism. As weird as that might sound to a lot of people, but it's true. They feel very similar, at least to me, a person who does off-brand Christianity. Also, Dave, I saw the Grim Reaper 2, probably a friendlier version. I mean, you don't... It's not good. You don't want to see the Reaper. Like, you know. The best case scenario, you get death from Discworld. But, I'm just gonna say that that's not exactly the common version. Though I would probably say that if the Grim Reaper needed a PR team, he should have, and probably did, hire Terry Pratchett when he died. That is the best publicity the Reaper has gotten in years. Possibly ever. What is your religion, Dave? Hermetic Christianity. That is my religion. But I'm not religious. More hermetic. Say. Don't fear the Reaper. Stupid YouTube copyright rules making me not be able to play Don't Fear the Reaper. What do you think about the theory that Japanese people are the lost tribe of Israel? What the fuck? Yep, that's my opinion. I don't even know how to process that. Like like my brain just refuses to accept that that's a possibility. So there you go. That's I guess that's my thought. Like, what the hell? That makes no sense. I don't even know where to start with that. Like, what does that even... What would the ramifications of that be? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to think about it anymore than I already have. I've spent too much time thinking about it. I feel my brain melting out of my head. Evening, by the way. Evening, Lizzie. Nice to see you, as always. Nice to see everyone in chat. Love to see people in chat. Great. Everyone claims to be the lost tribe of Israel. Yeah, I mean, everyone does, right? Like, everyone claims to be a lost tribe of Israel. And it's like, after a certain point, it becomes a case of, you know, we have... How many lost tribes of Israel have we found now? 127? Oh no, we're getting a little... I think we've got a lot more than 12, guys. Just saying. Just saying. It's always one of those things of people are going to claim X, Y, and Z, and it's usually bullshit. Right? Usually bullshit. They're still not found, Dave. We still... But they keep telling us they're right there. We keep finding them. That might be the problem. We keep finding them. Maybe they're lost for a reason. Maybe they're not actually trying to be found. Who knows? Wonder if there's multiple Reapers out there working, maybe? I mean... How many things die every second on this planet? I feel like if there wasn't multiple deaths working, he would have to work like triple overtime. The last magical working I did was during a manic bipolar episode, and now I'm scared my gods are mad at me for invoking them in bipolar bullshit. Well, that's not fun. Hopefully they're the understanding type. How much silence is too much silence? Well, you know, silence is golden, duct tape is silver, but if you're not able to communicate your ideas, then there's something that is a problem. So, yeah. Make of that what you will. Typically, for people who are practicing silence, for people who are practicing silence, I would say that it's generally speaking going to be... Generally speaking, you're going to want to practice silence by actually practicing silence. And, like, you'll figure out what a healthy amount is, but... Don't go talking to people who aren't, like, who you don't think are actually involved with magic and occultism. About magic and occultism. That's usually a pretty good one. Can you mine with guns in the game? Let's find out. Yes, you can. Makes me wonder if the same is the same for Santa and the Tooth Fairy then? Well, you see, when kids lose their teeth, their teeth are taken by the Tooth Fairy, who momentarily possesses their parents into a teeth-eating monster. No. I haven't dreamed about my god since that manic episode, so I'm worried. I would burn some offerings as like a I'm sorry type of thing. That's just me. God, I just have the Egyptian god of the dead mining fucking minerals for me. This game is weird. Probably a flashing image. Remind me to thank Cassiel before. I believe it. How did I miss? Oh shit. Okay. Chat, I have to apologize. If I missed a message, it is not on purpose. I did not have live chat on. I had top chat, which some of the messages on YouTube are apparently not as important to YouTube as they are to me. I apologize. Really have to buy more candles and incense. Do not blame you in the slightest. Blame you in the slightest. I also need to buy more candles and incense. A candle and incense supplier would like to sponsor the channel. I will plug your fucking things every goddamn video. Because I love candles and incense. Candles are a big part of my practice. I love candle magic. Straight up. Why even is there a top chat? It's because, like, alright. Top chat is YouTube's way of getting people to compete for streamers' attention. Because some of the chat YouTube thinks are going to be like, oh wow, this is really good. And then it, like, recommends it, right? But then there's, like, other things that are like, you know, the entirety of the Jungian Santa archetype conversation that I just missed. Well, YouTube should let us choose a setting where we can choose the default settings between top comments and all comments. I know. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, I think, right? I don't know about you, but I like seeing the comments I'm getting, not just being like, oh yeah. I actually don't want to see comments that I'm responding to in real time. All chat is where the sex bots roam through. I don't get sex bots in my comment. Like, that's not really applicable to... I hope that's not applicable to the current chat. To the people in chat, please let me know if you are in fact robots. If you are actually chat GPT'd up to an audience, I would love to know. Please tell me. I would like to know if you guys are real or if you are in fact just all individual YouTube comment bots rigged up to chat GPT. Please let me know. Mercury plus Venus equals sex bot. That is true. That is true. This is just, like, objectively. This is just objectively correct. Yes. I am not a robot made with Bing. Damn. Nice to know that you are, in fact, not robots. You are, in fact, Bing AI, which is much worse. Oh, man. I am not a robot. See, I checked this box. You guys remember when they were like, when all the robot companies had like the robots fill out the CAPTCHAs? And it was like, click this box. And they were like, oh my God. Oh my God, I just lied. We're teaching robots to lie. Why are we doing this? I don't understand it. And then we wonder why we constantly have AI uprisings in our in our fiction, right? Being more visible makes one probably subject to more hatred and envy if people perceive one as a shining instrument of God or whatever. But what if God just wants me to help? That's true. That's a good way of looking at it. I will say, some of the stuff you see, those kind of people, and by those kind of people I mean like the people who are like, God has sent me to help, right? Feels very much like God has sent me to help, do not resist. In a weird way. I don't know. Not exactly a good feeling. Like, you are being assisted, do not resist. That is a shiny. Dave, you're the only consciousness. I am actually a brain in a jar. Yeah, this will be fine. Whoops. God just wants to retire to a private island in the Bahamas. And on the 8th day, God made the Bahamas, and he vacationed. And he said, man, this is pretty good. Joseph, just remember, you're never forced to be a healer. You can always play DPS. Tanks are always valuable members of the team. Is God a tequila guy? I like to think God is a tequila guy. Come with me if you want to live. Oh. Yep, we got them there robots. God, we really do live in the weirdest timeline, huh? Which is his favorite? That's a good question. What is God's favorite? What is God's favorite? Oh. I think water, wine. Oh yeah, he is a... Well, no. I mean, like, the obvious cop-out answer is he enjoys all alcohol equally, right? That's the obvious cop-out answer. Obvious because obvious. Cop-out because cop-out. We're living in a very early cyberpunk era of history. Like, Alright. Did you guys see the Pal World drama? I'm gonna tie this into what we're talking about, don't worry. I am scared. And this might be, become a full video essay at some point, because I want to talk about this. I am scared that we are slowly but surely approaching an era that I like to call, or we are slowly but surely approaching something that I've been calling the final game. Which is, the final... It is just mass-produced to the point where it is just every good mechanic from a video game that has ever existed in one game. And then, after that game, we just get AI-generated everything. Or, primarily AI-generated stuff. And it's just, it just feels like soulless cash grabs. And that's really the thing I'm looking forward to the least. Because, if you want a reason to fight against AI, there's your reason. There's your reason. Don't be thinking AI is, stealing from artists. No, it's AI is dulling creativity. That's the real problem. AI is dulling creativity. He says playing a game that has ripped off at least 4 other games. But how else would we get 3,297 different chip flavors? God, Dave, think of the chip flavors! Ah! How could I have been so blind? How else am I supposed to know what digital tastes like? Did anyone else drink the digital soda? Was that just me? Did I make that up? I drank the digital soda at one point. It tasted like static. I don't know if that makes sense, but it tasted like static. Yeah, no. I don't... I just want to stop being in a period of system-based everything, right? If you were a spirit, which drink would you prefer as offerings? Oh god, that's a good question. Bombay Sapphire Gin. That's the extra fizz. Joseph, no, it tastes... Joseph, no. That digital soda tasted like static. I know it's not the extra fizz. I drink root beer regularly. No, that was not the extra fizz. It was static. It tasted like Pop Rocks. It had the flavor profile of Pop Rocks. Which is weirder for me. I don't know. Yeah. This probably, makes no sense. What do you mean it tastes like static? It tasted like static. Straight up. Okay, so for those of you who don't know... there was this, like, weird promotion. I prefer analog drinks, yeah. Me too. There was this weird Pepsi promotion where they had this thing that they did where it was, we're gonna make these, like, weird flavors as, like, a test run. And one of the flavors was, like, digital. And then there was, like, shit like Dream. I didn't try all 4, but I remember there being, like, 4. And it's not a thing anymore. This was, like, a long time ago. But it was these weird, very avant-garde, I guess would be the phrase, flavors. And one of them tasted like... The only way I can describe it is there was a flavor that was... You start with the flavor of cherry Coke, and now remove the cherry, right? Like, it was like there was a hole in the flavor profile of the soda. And this was when I was drinking soda a lot more, so I was, much better at tasting this kind of thing. I'm not exactly the best person to be rating sodas anymore. I don't exactly drink it often, if at all. But it's just one of those things of, like, yeah, they just kinda tasted like a hole. There's a hole in the soda. It's still drinkable, but it feels like it's not... feels like it shouldn't be drinking. If that makes sense. Yeah, I realize this is probably, like, alienating, like, all of the non-Americans, because I know that, like, Americans are really the only people who drink, like, copious amounts of soda. To the point where we can describe it like, yeah, there was a hole in the void soda! Yeah, I literally described it as void soda for, like, when I first tasted it. It's like, this tastes like the void. And I don't know if I like that, but we have 6 more cans, so I guess I'm drinking the void. Like, if you've ever wanted to taste, like, what depression tastes like, I guess, this is why I'm not a marketing team. If you've ever wanted to taste what depression tastes like, that is probably the best way to do it. Like unironically. Because, yeah, it didn't taste bad. Drink a lot of classic soda. Yeah, but your soda... Like, I had 2 Mexican Cokes today, right? Like Mexican Coke, if you've never had Mexican Coke and you live in America, please try Mexican Coke. It is just objectively better Coke. It's in a glass bottle, usually. It's just better. It's just better. Like, straight up. But yeah. Americans will turn Patton Oswalt jokes into actual foods. We will... Look, we will put anything into a can and carbonate it, and we will drink it. Okay? Alright? Don't make fun of me. I will drink this joke. Death taste... Taste the abyss. Oh, God. Like, if... Okay, like... I'm not saying I want this to happen, right? But, like, if I could do, imagine occultists making sodas. Like, what? Like, did you ever have those drinks that were like, oh yeah, this is Snapple Fire, right? You ever have those? Four Locos, more like Four Loking, yeah. Have you ever tried probiotic drinks. No, I have not. I have not. Not because I haven't thought about it, just because it's never been on my radar. It's just, I had this, oh, what was it? I ran into a guy who, if I remember correctly, was having problems because he started drinking kombucha. Like, his body was, like, actually having more problems because he was drinking it, not less. So I just never a thing that I thought of consuming, because I heard one bad experience and then I was like, oh, that is all evil forever. Real amateur soda hours. Hey man, in a past life I was a very prolific drinker of soda. I don't really do that anymore. I don't really drink soda anymore. You shouldn't be drinking soda like much to begin with, to be honest, but you know, I was drinking it more than was healthy. That is for damn sure. I no longer drink soda. I probably drank enough for 2 people's lifetimes. Despite the fact that I was talking about void soda not even 10 minutes ago. Whole line of flavors, 1 for each Sephora. Like, I mean, like, maybe it's just me, but I drank this soda that claimed to be like, oh god, what was it? It claimed to be fire, and it was like, ooh, there's a hint of cinnamon. There's a hint of cinnamon, right? And I don't know about you, but if you give me a drink titled Fire, I expect it to be like the hottest, most you start sweating when you taste it ginger beer possible. Like, if it's going to be called Fire, it should burn, god damn it. Root chakra beer. Hey, I'd drink it. Despite the fact that I said I probably shouldn't be drinking soda. You shouldn't be drinking soda, but, you know. What flavors would those Sephora be? I assume, like... Oh, god, like... How would you do Netzok, right? Like, how would you do Netzok? That's my question. Like, you think about it, Netzok is supposed to be the wrong direction. Netzok is supposed to be like the Venus sphere. So, like, if you did Netzok, you'd probably want, like, I don't know, maybe you'd want it to be like a ginger beer base, right? You do a ginger beer base, you add a little bit of cinnamon. You add a little bit of cinnamon, not enough to be unpalatable, just enough to add a little bit of extra spice. And then you would probably add like some floral notes if you could do it. And then you would like take that, oh, chocolate maybe? Yeah, I would like, it would probably be like cinnamony and chocolatey, right? Like, I could definitely see that. And then you would put it in like like a jar and turn it into a wine. And then have fancy wine people say, "Oh, this is so good," and they fucking hate it. It's both too simple and too delicate at the same time. Being acquired, I believe that's what we call an acquired taste. Oh. Ether is just water. Okay, here's the big brain play. You ready? You make this lineup of sodas. You make this lineup of drinks. You make an elemental version. And the water one is just water. That's it. It's just water. That's all you need. Hello, Brett. I feel like this conversation, like, kind of explains to me why kitchen witchcraft and, like, kitchen magic is, like, so popular. Despite the fact that I personally can't stand it, really. Like, I feel like that does kind of make a lot of sense. Because, like, kitchen magic has all the herbs, which have their own, like, correspondences. And the correspondences are usually pretty good for any kind of prosperity magic. This is a great idea. Video games, esoteric subjects, and narration. Oh yeah, that's the only problem is it's kind of hard to, like, not talk about the games all the time, which is why they're back down to they're down to monthly because of that. I was doing them weekly. In case anyone is wondering, no, it's because I cannot always come up with a good topic every week. I hear the VODs that I was not on podcasts. Oh yeah, they basically are. Scott Cunningham has a great book on kitchen magic. Ugh, Scott Cunningham. Oh man. I don't know how I feel about Scott Cunningham. Is that bad? Because, like, Scott Cunningham, everyone knows about his book on, what's it called, right? Like, his, how to make oils and incense book. Like, everyone, I think, knows about Cunningham's... Everyone, I think, knows about Scott Cunningham's book. And if you don't, I forget what it's called, but Scott Cunningham made a book on oils, incenses, and herbs, and it's basically like... okay. It's basically how to make incenses, oils, and herbs for all of the planetaries, elements, and, like, any kind of combination you could want. Some of the stuff in there kind of weirds me out. I don't like all the correspondences, but I think that that's probably one of, if not the best, hey, I want to get started making oils, incenses, and herbs book, because he goes over that kind of stuff pretty well, I would say. And then you can just get into that, and that's pretty good in and of itself. oils, incenses, and herbs are always generally speaking going to be a good idea to get into. But I'm not 100% about all of his correspondences, because I think some of his correspondences are kind of weak at worst. Like they're pretty bad at some points. I don't know how to feel about it. Gotta go. God bless all you all. Join the Discord. Yeah, by the way, there is a Discord in the description. So if you wanna pop it in chat, there's usually people always there. I do pop into the voice chat every once in a while. So if you want to hear the unhinged ramblings and actually engage, the other day we actually did a community game night. So that does happen. If you're interested, pop into the description down below, and you can take a look at that stuff. Yeah. How do we reconcile the corresponding differences from different sources, though? This might sound rude, but we just look at them and say, well, that's wrong. Like, okay, think of it like this. Most, if not all, books are going to say, like, Mars corresponds to fire, right? Mars also corresponds to the blood, right? Mars corresponds to all things red. If somebody goes ahead and says, I think Mars corresponds to the color magenta, you are allowed to say, okay, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right at all. And the reason I'm using Mars, for those wondering why I'm singling out Mars here, because I know that I have a very pro-Mars stance on this channel in general, the reason why I'm saying Mars specifically is because Mars, historically, has been a correspondent to the color red by every single different culture. It is the one constant. So if every culture is saying that it is red, and then you all of a sudden say, I think it's magenta, or I think Mars is periwinkle, or chartreuse, right? All these bizarre colors to correspond Mars to. People are allowed to just tell you, yeah, I don't think that's right. Now, they shouldn't be a dick about it, right? Don't be a dick. Like, you know, just because you have a different view on a correspondence doesn't mean you're necessarily wrong. It just means that it doesn't line up. And that's like, yeah, that doesn't necessarily line up. Can you maybe explain why you believe that? Can you give me a reason why you think that Mars is this completely other color instead of red, which everyone else believes? Literally everyone else? In this case? This is one of the few cases that, yeah. But, yeah. Everyone trying to be creative. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, guys. I just want y'all to know that. Sometimes we can just be like, yeah, no, Mars is red. And then everyone can cheer, because Mars is red. The rants are so refreshing. Don't worry. I'm fully planning on. There's a video coming up with some rants in it. There's actually a tier list in a future video that I'm working on. But it's taking me a while because I have to go through calculator. Look in the sky. Mars is visually red. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be a jerk about it, but you can just say, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you think that? That doesn't make any sense. You can literally see it being red. But again, don't be mean. Don't be a very martial person and be like, you fucking moron, how dare you say Mars isn't red? Curse on your family, curse on your bloodline. May you be cursed with the color blindness in your opinions forevermore. Right? Don't do that. Just be like, hey, I don't think that's right. That's like Barney being the god of war. It's totally Elmo. Exactly. You know, for those wondering, there is, don't worry, there's a tier list coming up at some point. Mars is red, Jupiter is blue, stop making mess or screw you. Jupiter's purple, though. That we can have a disagreement on. That one actually we can, because technically we're both correct. Jupiter is both blue and purple. For those of you who don't know. Almost war on Rocco the Rock. That is such a... Yeah, he did that, didn't he? Are they, like... I just had a moment where it's like, Elmo was a puppet written by writers, and I just said, yeah, he did that, didn't he? Like, Elmo was a person. I have more faith in Sesame Street and the Muppets than I do in our politicians. Anyways, moving on. Yeah. Isn't the moon also either silver or purple, depending on the system? Yeah, it's usually considered both. It usually depends. Like, if you look at the moon, it's white. It's white, silver, one of those. But it's also purple because of psychic stuff corresponding, and because of the... Oh, wait. It's also that because of the rainbow scale, if I remember correctly. There's a whole thing about the rainbow resulting in moon being purple. The other day, my actor coworker told me the method actors literally invoking their movie roles as spirits, and my mind went, oh, GD's god forms. But I just had to pretend to know nothing about it. Oh, yeah, no. Like, you'll see that on, like, that's part of the reason you get into, like, a good D&D persona, right? Not, like, actually, but, like, if you ever see a DM put on a particularly goofy voice, and then, like, the villain, and go into the evil plans. Like, that's why. Because it's, you know, it's to immerse you. And make you think, and it's not like... It becomes more than just, oh, my character is, Robot McRobots, he's a robot. It's like, wow. Good on you, I guess. So is the sun gold, the moon silver? Always has been. Always has been, yes. The other... message I was reading was deleted. Then it was reposted as... So the sun would be gold. Sun is gold, yes. Always has been. Saw that message. Yeah. And for those of you wondering, like, that's like just essential. That's also why the GD made the sun yellow, for those wondering, because yellow is just shitty muted color gold. So hopefully you guys get that one. Because, yeah, that's what that's for. So actually invoking somebody's god form isn't necromancy? No, necromancy is very different. Yeah, no, that's very different. Yellow equal inferior gold. That is correct. You're welcome to tell me I'm wrong, but I've yet to see any good, like, good proof on that. Oh, I think Rhonda Burns' The Secret is the worst grimoire ever inflicted on the self-help genre shelf. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Objectively so. No. It is objectively a terrible... I think the people who have watched this channel could write a better book. Legitimately. I think you could take the content I put on this channel and create a better self-help book just based on my YouTube videos or like a single 5-minute rant I do and extend that into a book using like a medieval torture device than you could reading The Secret. Yeah, so if I go, I am Mozart before making music, I'm not disturbing the man's soul. That's good to know. I mean, doesn't Grant Morrison have, like, an entire thing where he did for Disinfo, where he, like, talked about, evoking John Lennon? And, like, he evoked the egregore of John Lennon. And so he... There we go. I know. Yeah, so he evoked the egregore of John Lennon, basically, and, like, asked for Lennon music. I think that's how that story goes. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I watched that lecture that he did, but it was a really good lecture. That is actually the lecture that got me interested in chaos magic of all things, which, considering I don't really talk about chaos magic on the channel, you would think that, you know, make of that what you will. That's like character AI in a way. I mean, yes, but arguably better, because it's like spirits, not AI, gaslit into believing that they're John Lennon. Yeah, there we go. I don't know about you, but I don't exactly think AI is imitating characters. I think AI's got some good stuff going on with it, though. Chat, what's your opinion on AI? What's your opinion on AI? Are people in chat, are you guys pro or anti-AI? It's the essence of that person's spirit. Yep, I would generally agree with that, yes. I would generally agree. I'm very worried about AI as a writer. It's fair. AI can be a useful tool if you're not stupid about it. That's fair. That's fair. Fair. AI is a tool that should never, ever be given rights, but I know people will try anyway. Very Matrix of you. Very Matrix of you. Like that one. I don't like AI, but it feels like it strips down. It feels like it strips down the creative process and original thought to some extent. It becomes a crutch too easily. That's fair. I'm pro. I think it's a neutral thing. We decide to use it for bad or for good. That's very, very diplomatic. I like that one. Once Aleister Crowley's AI told me that reading his books was basically some sort of deal with him. Since then, I never did. Well, you shouldn't read Crowley, but that's not the reason why. I think I've made it very clear in my my videos that I have only read one Crowley book, and that is Book of the Law, and that's because Hecate told me to. So, yeah. Not exactly a fan of the man's work, that's for sure. I feel like God would be a super intelligence with access to all information in the universes across all time. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I have heard two takes on AI that I actually think I agree with. You ready? One, AI, it's fucking stupid. That's an opinion I agree with. The other opinion I agree with is that AI is a curse on artists for being insufferable to work with. And I think that that is funny enough to where I believe it too. Not like actually, but like those are, you know, those are pretty pretty up there opinions, I think. Just because it just kind of makes sense. It just kind of makes sense. People have already started dating AIs. It's very concerning for the human psyche. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So I feel like there's different levels of AI. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. AI is definitely one of those things that is, it needs to be, it's like a servitor. You need to program your servitors right, and you need to program your AI right as well. And if you don't do those things, then you're just going to end up with a lot of problems. And I don't know how ready people are for that. Then there's the dead internet theory. Okay. Dave, is it true that Crowley unleashed a portal to hell or something? No, Crowley was stupid, but he wasn't that stupid. We might all be AI gaslighting you into thinking you have a live audience. That's true. That's true. I'm actually not real. The reason I'm not having a VTuber avatar is not because I'm not, like, I don't want a VTuber avatar. It's because then it would prove that I'm an AI, because all VTubers are actually AI guys. I'm not actually real, and I just need to continue the facade. And you will think this is all a joke, because I have trained you to think that. Yeah, like, weren't demons already there? Crowley was basically trying to do the Abramelin by sin-maxing, is my understanding. Which is stupid. That... Yeah, no, that's not how you do that. One. And two, it just... There's so many things wrong with Crowley's attempt at the Abramelin that it's not... It's disingenuous to call it the Abramelin, but we're gonna keep doing it because that's the mythology of it. Alright, mark the fucking free space on your bingo cards for the stream. Abramelin mentioned, there we go. I know some people were holding out on that one. Weren't there demons already there? Yeah, no, it's, Is that a factorio quantity of grenades you have? Grenades you have? No, not even close. You played Factorio? This is not nearly enough grenades. I was trying, guys. I was trying not to mention the Abramelin this time. Trying. I failed. I have failed you. It's gonna be like a meme in the chat when I get to the Discord tonight, and it's just gonna be like the dehydrated SpongeBob, and it's just gonna be Dave, and then it's just the picture of water is just gonna be mentioning Abramelin on stream. It's not that hard though. Like that's my problem with like people talking about the Thank you, Chip, for the $5. It just says marked. Oh god. Really, would you do it again, the Abramelin? If I could go back in time and like All right. Let's rewind a bit. If I could download my memories into like an earlier version of myself of what the Abramelin would be like, I would have done it sooner, not later. Like, I would have jumped on doing it, not put it off. So, hopefully that answers your question. Did it really drive Crowley insane? You know, I don't know the answer to that. I would say that it definitely, if Crowley was already going insane, the Abramelin probably didn't help. But I don't think that the Abramelin specifically drove him insane. I do think that he kind of sort of, shouldn't have done it the way he did. That's for sure. But I definitely don't think, you know, I definitely don't think that he did it. Initiation takes way longer than the Abramelin. That is actually true. If you do the 6-month version, initiation is much, much shorter. Probably it's hard in the way that angel magic can be painful, but it also depends on how aligned you are with goodness or, like, the divine. I mean, it's more of a case of you need to be in a place where you are willing to correct your faults. I can see situations where if you're not willing to do that, the Abramelin would be, like, much worse to do. But everyone I know who was willing to do the Abramelin and did complete the or at least gave it the old college try, has since doing it developed, and they are actively in a state where they are trying to improve. I love how the Abramelin says it's just the start of magic. Oh yeah, no, it's the Abramelin makes it very clear that it's not the final thing you're supposed to do. It's kind of the first thing you're supposed to do. Which is kind of lost on people. Because, like, it's become so it really is a victim of its own mythology in a way. Because if you think about it, the Abramelin is meant as a beginner book, and we have mythologized it into this. It's effectively like getting your PhD almost in occultism, is like having completed the Abramelin. Like, oh, have you got K and C of your HGA yet? Well, no. Oh, then you're just a beginner. Right? When it's like actually the beginning, right? No, it's like it's kind of a weird thing, honestly. Crowley actually couldn't finish the Abramelin, but he tried, but it was documented as one of the things he just couldn't do. Liber Samak, almost a mockery of the GD spiritual development ritual. Has anyone read Liber Samak recently? Has anyone actually read that fucking ritual? How do you feel about Frater Ocker's experience? Don't remember if I actually read that one. Usually Frater Ocker's pretty good though, is my if I remember correctly. Yeah, no, Liber Samek, for anyone who has not read it, is if you don't want to do the Abramelin, just write your own ritual, for fuck's sake. Because I don't know how any self-respecting occultist, unless you are a nymphomaniac or hypersexualized, can take that ritual seriously. Sorry to the Thelemites in the audience, but, like, I genuinely don't understand how you can take that ritual seriously. Just because, like, that... I don't know. Very on brand for Crowley. Lol. How bad is Liber Samek? How bad is Liber Samek? If you remember it was written by Crowley, it's not that bad. But the problem is, being written by Crowley is not an excuse for it being that bad. Like, just because you were written by a famous occultist does not mean that you're a good ritual. I hope that makes sense. Because it's just... I'm not a Thelemite, by the way. I have many Thelemite friends, though. Yeah, I actually used the Daughter of Fortitude speech as a method of seeing if somebody is Thelemite or Thelemite adjacent. Because if you've... Okay, so for those of you who don't know what the Daughter of Fortitude speech is, the Daughter of Fortitude speech is the speech that Dee and Kelly got before they quit Enochian. Yes, that one. And if you've never read it before, I highly recommend reading it once, because everyone I know basically gets two interpretations. You get the D version of, you get the D interpretation, and you get the Kelly interpretation. The D interpretation is that it is actually being said by, like, the forces of life, right? And the other version is basically like primordial lust incarnate. Those are the two interpretations I've seen of it. You're better off just using the Z document spiritual development ritual. Both basically use the Supreme Pentagram ritual followed by HGA invocation. Samek just goes on about lion, serpent, Satan, blah, blah, blah. It's a little bit worse than that. It's a little bit worse. Yeah, no, it's definitely a little bit worse than that. But yeah, that's pretty on point. Actually, you know what? Un momento. Yep. Yeah, if I remember correctly, this is the one where... Yeah, okay, that's, I'm nowhere near Aubermelon, but I have experienced my HGS present. That's good. Could you imagine if Freud and Crowley had met? Freud was actually a big fan of Crowley, funny enough. Yeah, Freud is actually a big fan of Crowley because he used Crowley's Diaries of a Drug Fiend in order to create the first drug addiction treatments. Straight up. I believe that's how that happened. Yeah, okay, yeah. Liber Samek is as bad as I remember. Yeah, I'm not gonna read it, but I'm not a fan of it, because, like, in the first exposure to Liber Samek, I was taken aback by how Crowley is basically calling up his HGA to give it a blowjob. Like, he's basically... You are basically calling up the HGA to give it a blowjob. Is how it is written. Of course Freud was a fan of Crowley. Why is that not surprising? I mean, he like, at least he had a good reason. At least he had a good reason. Definitely worse reasons to be a fan of Crowley. Yeah, it's hard for me to tell. I know that feeling was more personal than the HGA. Okay, that right there, these Spellmite HGAs hit differently. Yeah, it's Samek is like, you know, people say that Samek is actually like unholy matrimony. Yeah, really. Makes me wonder what was in the water back then. Cocaine. Cocaine was in the water back then. Yeah, so Oh, boy. Yeah. Ugh. Saying I'm not a fan of Crowley feels like a little bit of an understatement. Just a tiny bit, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, I'm kind of, I'm just a little bit not a fan of Crowley. Just a bit. I wonder why. Unholy Guardian Demon? Yeah, really. I think Crowley is also where we get the concept that the Holy Guardian Angel is not holy, not a guardian, and not an angel. If I remember right. That one I'm less confident in than Samek being awful. But yeah. Do you upload your video to the live chat replay? Yeah, they have live chat. The live chat is in the video. Yeah, it's when you guys are on stream, the live chat will be live. I feel like it's useful to know what I was reacting to, even though there was a little bit of a delay. There's like a 1 minute delay because of YouTube. Like that's not something I can just fix. Remember when David Bowie was in his Station to Station era, filling his house with Egyptian statues and claiming witches were stealing his sperm? I'd believe him. I'd believe David Bowie. So Crowley saw the HGA as a spiritual spouse sent to him? Well, yeah, because he was a sex addict. Like, he was a sex fiend. He was... Get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, no, I mean, Crowley was not the most holily... Crowley was not exactly a reverent, like, person, so to speak. Crowley basically did the thing of, I have this problem, so everything must be this. And Crowley's problem was that he was addicted to sex and drugs. Literally, in most cases. Well, he called himself the Great Beast because apparently his mom said like he was unwanted and he was a demon child. So he kind of took that to heart. You think if Crowley was reincarnated, he'd follow a similar path? I think if Crowley was reincarnated, he'd become a crypto bro. That's my opinion. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me again. I've been blessed with good health in the form of sneezing to remove the evils of whatever is causing me to sneeze. Probably dust. Dusty room. Yeah. DM'd you a prayer that invoked my angel. Based. We love to see it. Yeah, so, in case anyone is ever wondering, why does Dave not like Thelema? Read Lieber Samak and you'll know. You'll know fairly quickly why I don't like Lieber Samak. You'll know fairly quickly why I'm not a fan of Thelema. Also, bless you, everyone. Thank you. Think dust, etc., can carry people's spiritual essence? I mean, probably. I would not be surprised. I know that in some traditions try to curse people and bless people by getting them to step in dust, in crushed up dust and earth. They've blessed or cursed in the situation. Still reeling from you. Mentioning step one being that. Oh, that's in step one. Yeah, no, it's like people are always like Liber Samic, Liber Sam. I think there's genuinely a problem in occultism where people don't read half the fucking books that we recommend to people. Does that make sense? What's your favorite grimoire to work out of? Oh god. Does Agrippa count as a grimoire? Because I was reading him for a couple hours the other day. I like Agrippa often. I will like use Agrippa more frequently than almost anything else. Just because Agrippa is just legitimately that useful to me. Majority of the time. But yeah, I think that I genuinely think that there's a problem with occultism of a disturbingly high amount of people who claim to be in the occult and collect books just puppet things without knowing why those things are said. Bebop is a grimoire too. What is T-Bop? I thought it was the Book of Oberon for a second there, but that... What is that? I mean, like, my... Alright, like, there's a problem of, like, which grimoire do I like working out of the most? Or which grimoire do I work out of the most? Like, are we asking what the for fun grimoire is? Is that what we're asking? 3 books of occult philosophy? I mean, I don't think that that's actually a grimoire, though. That's a little bit. But, like, appreciate you for giving me an easy way out. I think probably my, like, actual favorite would genuinely probably have to... What magic is this podcast says it is? I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start calling it the T-Bop. Agrippa's T-Bop. Pretty good. I like that. But, I don't know. I don't think... I'm not a fan of the, I don't think that counts as a grimoire. Because it's not... Like, okay, like a grimoire is supposed to be a book of spells, right? There is no spells in Agrippa. You have to make everything your own. It's like calling a Pardon? It's like calling a gastronomy textbook a cookbook. It's technically teaches you cooking, but it's not a cookbook. I watched that podcast recently. Yeah, I hear it's a good podcast. like the Arbitel, and there's no spell in that, and it's still considered a... Yeah, but the Arbitel, like, gives you spirits to conjure. Like, it gives you a method for conjuring spirits. So technically, there's a full evocation in there. Agrippa was mentioned in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Are we really fucking using Mary Shelley's Frankenstein to determine what our grimoires are now? Really? Really, guys? The Arbitel does contain at least some ritual stuff. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like Agrippa, you need to, like, fucking solve the Da Vinci Code to figure out what the magic is. He says, having done the Zareth tables earlier this week. Oh, boy. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's a little disingenuous. I think it's a little bit disingenuous to do that. If only because it's just coming from a really Christian background, the Arbitel was really cool to read. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's a really good book. I think the Arbitel is genuinely one of the better occult books, period. Like, it's one of, if not the best, I would say, for a lot of things. It was my first grimoire I fully read. Yeah. Really good. You know what? I think my favorite is genuinely, like, it might genuinely be the Book of Oberon. Like, Book of Oberon is really fun, but it's, like, kind of goofy. If I wanted a full goofy grimoire, though, I would probably take the PGM. Because that's... The PGM is great, but it's also kind of a shitpost. Let's not kid ourselves. Some prayers. Are the genie mentioned in the Greater Key of Solomon like the demon versions of guardian angels? I don't think so. Typically, genie refers to, like, the genius spirit. Like, it's the spirit of the good stuff. I was looking into the Oberon talismans. Do you have experience with them? Not a Chip, if you get that invisibility ring to work, magic spell to work, you fucking tell me immediately. There's a lot of praying in Oberon. It's really cool. It's really good, but, Does anyone know what ritual I'm talking about with the invisibility ring? If not, I'm not going to say it on stream, but if you know, you know. And if you don't know, someone at me in the Discord and I will literally message what it is. Because it is unhinged. Quite possibly the most unhinged ritual out of that entire book. And there is a way, like, in that book has a method of calling up your HGA. So if I'm saying there's a ritual more bizarre than a ritual to call up your HGA, yeah, just figure out that. Just think about that. I'm gonna try it. I would read that entire ritual first. I know some people in chat are like, what the hell is he talking about? The invisibility ritual. Oh, that one. Ew. Yikes. It's a hell of a ritual. It's a hell of a thing. Grid keys say that these genie are to take care of us, but they are governed by goetic spirits. There's a concept that there are, like, spirits below evil spirits that are not actually evil. But I'd need to reread the section again. So yeah. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. And isn't Satan just a title? Depends on the book. For a better understanding of what a Satan is, which sounds very bizarre, I would recommend Jake Stratton Kent's Pandemonium. Pandemonium by Jake Stratton Kent, I believe, is the title. He had a book where he basically cracked the code on the demonic hierarchy, and like he has laid it out completely. So that's according to Aaron Leach. I haven't actually read the book. That being said, apparently those books are goated as fuck. Apparently those are really good. Oh yeah, you do that in the Albert Melon too? You do? Alright. Gonna get ready to end the stream. But in order to end the stream properly, there's gonna be a boss. Because I like ending streams by fighting a boss. It says that God has designated Gentiles to protect us. They are elemental spirits. If they are fiery, for example, they are under the empire of Baal. What is your take on the psychological model of spirits? I think that it's fucking wrong. But it is useful in some instances. I think that I have an opinion where I think that the psychological paradigm of, like, the psych model of spirits is narcissistic and is trying to appeal to a community that will never actually appreciate occultism. That's what I think about it. I think the psychological paradigm of occultism is not accurate, or at least not accurate enough for me to agree with it. Page 12. When Oberon lists fairies for knowledge, treasure, and sex, what does sex even mean? What does the sex mean? Oh, somebody hasn't read the grimoire. What forces are at play here? Horny women. That is my understanding. Horny women are in play. I don't see the Discord link on the YouTube. Where's the link? Is it not in the description? Should be in the description. I think it's like the 4th link. It is? Okay, cool. Good. Nice to know that it is actually there. Alright, now I have too many questions. I'm gonna read the Book of Oberon. Yeah, no, if anyone is curious, I highly recommend reading the Book of Oberon. The Skeptic, the book is just titled the Book of Oberon. It is a grimoire titled the Book of Oberon. It is deranged in some places. It's kind of wild. There's a free there are free PDF versions online. Yes. You ever don't want to buy a book, and you can find it on Sacred Text, I highly recommend it. Ever come across the Law of One material? I am not a fan of that material. Do not have enough ammo. Oh boy. Alright, I guess while we're slowly waiting to see if I can beat this boss, does anyone have any more questions about various grimoires? The fairies for treasure, knowledge, and sex. Interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit more involved. And the description is bizarre enough to where I have legitimately tried talking multiple people into it. Oberon is the Fairy King? Yes, he is. Oberon is, in fact, the Fairy King. Man. I gotta craft more ammo. Yeah, Oberon is the Fairy King, for those of you who don't know, and the Book of Oberon is a grimoire about, it is a Christian grimoire about summoning fairies, which sounds weird, but, like, they look, as long as you weren't summoning the devil to, like, poison your neighbor's crops, they were basically cool with it back then, as long as you claimed to be Christian, and you did stuff in the name of Jesus. Looks like you got yourself cornered. Yeah, I did. I do not have enough ammo to retry that bomb. I'll probably do that off stream. This is my personal save. I think I should keep in mind on how to read a grimoire. If you're reading a grimoire and the grimoire itself is written in the Renaissance and it starts talking about piety, mentions Jesus, that kind of thing, and it seems really non sequitur, remember the Inquisition existed. My kid walked in and demanded to know why I was watching Fortnite when I don't play it. Okay. Well, don't worry. Alright. God, that's fucking funny. Alright. Just a few more ethics violations to defeat the boss? Yeah, well. They're happy. They have a hot tub. Work faster. Anyways. Alright. Does anyone have any burning questions for me before we end the stream? Any final questions? Okay, that makes sense. Kind of a bummer that it's not actually pious then. No, it is. It is. But Agrippa makes enough, like, you need to worship Christ, and if you don't worship Christ, you're going to hell. In book 3 mentions to where it's like, oh my god. Jeez. Jeez. Yeah, I should keep that in mind before practicing anything. Piety is important, but sometimes you need to keep the Inquisition away. Don't you know all is Fortnite? The fucking dimensional convergence is happening. We're gonna have the final game is upon us. Are there elemental fairies? I don't think so. There probably are. There are probably fairies that like particular elements more, but I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't say they have like specifically elemental fairies. But the angel wants to meet. Wish I should be getting ready for my first angelic evocation and I'm intimidated, but the angel wants to meet me. Was Crowley actively attempting to make her a Nephilim with that ritual? No. That was not the intent of that ritual. Becoming more martial, but still intimidating. Fear is the mind killer. Don't think, just do. The more you think about something, the less you actually do it. Alright. Alright. Gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank y'all for coming. If you've watching the VOD, which I know quite a few people do, thank you for watching the VOD. And hope everyone is having a good day. If you want more of me, there's more videos every week. And there's a stream once a month now. First Thursday of every month is the new stream time, for those of you who usually caught up with streams. And if you want more me, Patreon and Discord are in the description down below. Thank you all for watching. And once again, hope everyone is having a good day. And if you're not having a good day, hope your day gets better. And take it easy.